Thank you, Your Honor. The state would call Matt Daniels to the stand. Before you have a seat, could you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give this court to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. Please have a seat. Go to that microphone. Please state your name and spell your name for the record.
Matthew Daniel, Matthdaniel.
And Mr. Daniel, if you could please tell the jury, where do you work?
I work for the Georgia Bureau of Investigation as a digital forensic investigator.
And how long have you been a digital forensic investigator?
6 years.
All right. And could you tell the jury a little bit about your educational background?
I attended Cedar Grove High School, and then I attended Atlanta Metropolitan College, and I attended Kennesaw State University.
Okay. And how did you become a digital forensic investigator with the Georgia Bureau of Investigations?
I began working at the GBI as a microsystem support specialist, which is just basic computer support. And from there, I began to be a digital forensic investigator.
Is there a difference between a digital forensic investigator and a special agent?
Yes.
What is the difference?
Special agent has arrest powers and they carry a weapon. I don't carry a weapon. I'm not sworn. I don't do any arresting.
Okay. Do you basically do investigating about computers and things like that on behalf of the GBI?
Yes. I'm requested to perform computer forensics, which is basically pulling data off of anything that holds digital media or digital evidence.
Back in 2010 and 2011, did the Georgia Bureau of Investigation start using a piece of equipment called a Leica scanner?
Yes.
And what is a Leica scanner?
A Leica scanner is a 3D reconstructive scanner. It measures and takes pictures and to reconstruct whatever it is that you scan.
Okay. Back in 2011, were you a person who was trained to do Leica scanning on behalf of the Georgia Bureau of Investigations?
Yes, I was.
And back on March 22nd of 2011, were you called from your office? Where is your office located, by the way?
Office is located in Decatur, Georgia.
Okay. Back on the afternoon of March 22nd, 2011, were you called out to a scene on Sycamore Drive here in Athens, Georgia by Special Agent Rossler?
Yes, I was.
And could you please tell the jury, what did you do when you came to Athens?
I pulled up to the scene, I parked my vehicle, I removed all of my Leica equipment out of the back of the vehicle. I set up the Leica scanner and I began scanning the scene in which Agent Rossler had kind of pointed out to me where exactly it was I needed to scan.
Okay. And tell the jury, what does a Leica scanner do exactly, aside from that 3D image? What does it do?
It measures points and it takes photographs. And once it measures the points and takes the photographs, there's a program called TrueView that stitches those points and photographs together so it can give you a full scene of the scan that you took.
And did you do that in this case?
Yes.
At the time that you arrived, was Officer Tony Howard on scene?
No.
At the time that you began your scan, was Officer Buddy Christian still in his vehicle?
No, he wasn't.
I'm going to show you what's been marked for the record as State's Exhibit 683 and 684 and ask if you recognize these items. Do you recognize State's Exhibit 683?
Yes, I do.
What is State's Exhibit 683?
It is a DVD in which I created that has the Leica TrueView on it.
Okay. And was that something that you made back in 2011 after you operated the Leica scanner on March 22nd, 2011?
Yes, it is.
And does that have your initials on it?
Yes, it does.
Have you had the opportunity to look at that CD? Is that is that the actual CD that you made in this case?
Yes, it is.
State would move to State's Exhibit 683 at this time.
Any objection? No, sir, no. It's submitted.
State State's Exhibit 684, what is that?
This is also a DVD of the Leica Tribute scan.
And have you had an opportunity to look at that DVD in State's Exhibit 684?
Yes, I have.
And does it have your initials that you've looked at it and you've initialed that disc?
Yes, it does.
And does that contain a copy of the Leica scan that you made?
Yes, it does.
Does it also have what is called a marked up version of the Leica scan based on what you created?
Yes, it does.
And can you tell the jury what it means when you're talking about these Leica scans as something that's marked up?
Marked up means that when you're doing after you perform a Leica scan, and like I stated before, you have the point cloud and the photographs that the scanner takes. A marked up version is the version in which you went inside of that TrueView scan and you marked up distances, meaning I measured from one point to another and it gave me a distance in feet, or I inputted an external photo taken with a different device and I placed that inside of that TrueView.
In this case, did you actually use a regular digital camera and go around and take photographs of the scene?
No, I didn't.
Okay, did Agent Rossler do that?
Yes, he did.
Did he provide his digital photographs to you as part of this?
Yes, he did.
Did you include those in State's Exhibit 683 attached to that
Yes.
CD?
Yes.
Okay. The photographs that you took, is that just with the Leica scanner,
Yes.
where all those are woven together to make a three-dimensional image?
Yes.
Okay. If I could have State would we move to State's Exhibit 684 already, Your Honor? If not, I'll tender that now.
Any objection? No, sir, Your Honor. Submitted.
If I can now publish State's 684 this time, Your Honor.
All right.
It may just take a moment to load. And while we're waiting for it to load, Mr. Daniel, can you tell us about the measurement of how the Leica scanner operates to measure distances?
The Leica scanner is a device that can only scan what it can see. So if the laser is pointing, in this direction, it will scan in this direction. It scans 360 degrees all the way around, and the scanner and the laser that is in the middle of the scanner goes around in a very fast circle. So it goes around in a very fast circle this way and 360 degrees around that way. And whatever it can see, that's what it can scan. The point cloud is what allows measurement.
Okay, and when you're talking about this point cloud measuring distances, what accuracy is that point cloud?
The point cloud accuracy is to 1/8 of an inch.
I'm going to go ahead and see where it says on the screen, sitemap unmarked. Mr. Daniel, do you see that where I have my mouse?
Yes.
Okay. And an unmarked version would be what? Just the scan itself that you took?
Yes.
Okay. All right. What are we looking at on the screen here?
This here is just a sitemap. Once you create a TrueView and you burn it to the disk, it opens up in a web browser, such here as Internet Explorer, and this gives you everything that the scanner was able to scan. The dark black spots, the dark area out there is what the scanner was not able to scan. The more colorful area closer in by the orange triangle or yellow triangle there is what the scanner was able to scan.
I want to move this over more centered. I see on the screen, and I'll point this out, where it says Station 2, Station 1, and Station 3. Do you see those three areas in purple on the screen?
Yes, I do.
What does that mean?
A scan is done in what they call a scan world. So you set up one scan world, and inside that scan world you have 3 separate stations, all located in this one scan world. So what that means is I scan here in in Station 1, and then I moved the scanner to Station 2, and then I moved the scanner down to Station 3.
And what is it, does the scanner use any type of instruments to help line it up as far as to what you're scanning towards?
Yes, they use instruments called targets, which are long poles in which if I set up the scanner here at Station 1, I can set up a target somewhere in between that will allow Station 1, 2, and 3 to attach to those targets.
And what does the scanner itself look like?
It sits on a red tripod with two ends. You can almost take these two, if you had two of these, sit them beside each other, and there's a laser in the middle.
I'm going to go ahead and open up Station 1. What are we looking at on the screen here?
This is just a basic unmarked up true view. This is where the point cloud and the photos were all stitched together. You can see individuals. This is everything that the scanner can see from this point of view.
Okay. On the left-hand side, what is that little item I'm touching there, an orange item that has 3 legs or 4 legs to it?
That is a target.
Okay. And what are all these hexagons that we see in the sky there?
Those are all the photographs that the scanner itself is taking.
Okay, so are those all separate photographs that are then woven together to make a 3-dimensional image?
Yes.
And so does this scanner spin around, so can I operate this mouse to make the item turn in any direction?
Yes, you can.
Okay. But the scanner itself is stationary?
The scanner is stationary.
Okay. So have I now turned the scanner around to face a red SUV and a police car?
Yes.
And is that the red SUV?
Yes, that's the red SUV.
I see there's a yellow triangle that says Station 003. What is that?
That is the third scan station. You can click on that yellow triangle and it will move you over to the point of view of the scanner at that time.
Okay. Is that what I've done now by clicking on that Station 3?
Yes.
And this item here, is that target again?
Yes.
If I scroll down, what is this black shape that we see on the ground now?
Being that the scanner can only scan what it can see, it can't scan directly under it because it's not able to see directly under it. Hence why that shadow is there.
Okay. As we scroll to the right, I see what looks like a triangle in the shadow. What is that?
That would be the scanner.
Okay, so that's the light hitting the scanner, casting a shadow on the ground?
Yes.
And the scanner can actually pick up its own shadow that way?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And basically, were you interested in getting a scan of this red SUV as well as this police car that I'm hitting with the red light?
Yes.
Were you also interested in the police car on Sycamore Drive that I just hit with the red light as well?
Yes.
And I see it says station, I think 002. Why does it say station 002 behind that police car?
Because that is the second scan station where I placed the scanner at.
And obviously this black car, was that parked there kind of in the middle of that area
Yes.
when you arrived? If I hit this station 002, what will that do?
If you hit that station 002, it will take you over to the scan area where I placed the scanner at that time.
And does that appear to be the police car that was parked on Sycamore Drive that you were asked to capture in the scan?
Yes, it does.
And does the window appear to be shattered out of the driver's side front window?
Yes, it does.
Does it also capture in the distance the red SUV
Yes.
and the other police car that was parked in the driveway of Cascade Apartments that day?
Yes.
Is this marked up in any way?
No, it's not.
Okay, what do you, when we mark something up, what would that mean?
That would mean you would highlight a point, let's just say that tree there, and then highlight a point, that tree there, and it would measure the distance between those two trees.
Okay. I'm now clicking on what says sitemap marked, and have you had a chance to look at that sitemap as well?
Yes,
And is that the same scan but now marked up?
yes.
Okay. Now I see that there are now red dots with numbers corresponding to them on the screen. What do those red dots with those yellow numbers indicate?
Those red dots correspond to the external pictures taken by Special Agent Rossler that were placed into that tree view.
Okay. And did he number his photographs in that information that he gave you?
Yes,
And do these numbers correspond with the numbers that he originally had?
yes.
But these are not evidence sticker numbers, are
No,
they?
no.
Okay. So if we wanted to see a digital image that corresponded, that Agent Rosser took, that corresponded with the tree view, what would we do?
You can double click on that red circle which the mouse is pointing on now, and it will open up the image in the external viewer.
Does that appear to be the front of the police car that was parked on Sycamore Drive with the window
Yes.
that was shut out? Okay. If we wanted to know distances, is there a way to capture that?
Yes,
And did we do that in regards to this?
yes.
Show you what's been previously marked as snapshot 117 and see if that, what does that snapshot 117 show?
Snapshot 117 shows the distance between the back bumper of the police car located here and the front bumper fender of the police car located here.
And just for the record, the back bumper is the police car that's parked in the driveway of the Cascade Apartments,
Yes,
and the front bumper is the police car with the window that's broken out, parked on Sycamore Drive.
yes.
And how many feet was between the back bumper of the police car parked on Cascade's driveway and the front bumper of the police car parked on Sycamore Drive?
82 feet.
Okay, is it actually measured out to 82.712 feet?
Yes, 82.712.
And in yards, how many yards is that?
27.6.
If I flip over to station 1 and turn around, are we also able to look at, I see more red dots, does that mean there's more photographs that are marked up to go along with that vehicle?
Yes,
Okay. So if I double click on one, we see a photograph of the gun belt that was by the car.
Yes.
That's what Agent took photo of. If I click on this, we see a further out side view of that same police car, is that right?
yes.
And if I want to look at other, does this now show the view of the red SUV and the police car that's parked in Cascade's driveway?
Yes.
It's not giving us an image yet, but did you set up measurements between those two vehicles?
Yes.
Okay, is that what it's trying to display here?
Yes.
Okay. Does that show 11.793 yards in red?
Yes. Yes, it does.
Can you see what it says in feet between those two markers?
Yes.
And what is that?
35.507.
So does this actually show that the distance is from the point on the driver's door of the police car parked in Cascade and a spot underneath the passenger front door of the red SUV?
Yes, it does.
Okay. And those distances were approximately 11 yards and 35 feet?
Yes.
Okay. Now here, are there more measurements that you've taken with, from this station where it's centered on the police car parked in the drive of Cascade Apartments?
Yes.
And you have markings from the right rear bumper of that same police car, which we'll call Officer Howard's car, and the police car parked on Sycamore Drive, which we'll call Officer Christian's car.
Yes.
Okay. And you also have markings from the right rear bumper of the SUV and the front left bumper of Officer Howard's car.
Yes.
And so what's the distance basically between the back of the SUV and the front of Officer Howard's car?
8 feet. I'm sorry, 24 feet, 8 yards.
And what's the distance between the back of Officer Howard's car and the front of Officer Christian's car?
28 yards, 84 feet.
Okay, so that's either measurement you want. If you want it in feet, you got it in feet. If you want it in yards, you got it in yards. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Excuse me, Jerry. I missed that, could I get that from again? The back of our car, the front of which car, could I get that from, I kinda missed it.
So that
Okay,
should be on your screen.
okay. Okay, it's 28,081. You said 28, that will mess me up. Okay.
So as we're looking at this marked up version, the distance between the back of the vehicle of Tony Howard's car and the front of Officer Christian's car is approximately 28 yards. Is that correct?
Yes, approximately 28,081 yards,
Or 84 feet.
or 84 feet, yes.
And the distance between Tony Howard's car and that red SUV is approximately 8 yards or 24 feet.
Yes.
So these are taken from basically where your stand is located to get a capture of both of those items. Isn't that right?
Yes.
Those vehicles. Okay. I'm going to take us back to the original unmarked scan because we have a lot of items that are kind of clogging up the picture for a moment. If I pan to the right, the laser just took 360 degrees from this stand area. Is that right?
Yes.
And in front, is that the shadow of your scanner sitting there on the ground?
Yes, it is.
Right there. I'm trying to look on the laser. And does this show the front of Officer Buddy Christian's vehicle?
Yes, it does.
Okay, as you pan around that, capturing the side of that vehicle, is that correct?
Yes.
As we pan back to the left, we'll be able to see, first of all, your station 3, which you took in front of the red SUV. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
And then we'll also see the red SUV as well. Is that correct?
Yes.
But the red SUV, is there something kind of obstructing the view between where we are in the red SUV?
Yes,
What do we have in the way there?
the black car, the tree,
There are also
and
fences.
the fence.
As you keep scanning, there are more trees on the side of that road lining the roadway.
Yes,
Okay. And as we scale over, do we also see Officer Howard's vehicle parked in the driveway?
yes,
Okay. Switch over. Obviously, we see a GBI truck parked right here. What is that?
that is our GBI crime scene truck.
And I guess these are materials on the ground in regards to that?
Yes, those are the materials that I use to pack up and transport the Leica scanner and the equipment.
And we also see the shadow of the Leica scanner on the ground there?
Yes,
Scroll to the right. We now have the red SUV as well as your Station 3 pictured in the picture as well as Tony Howard's vehicle.
yes.
Now from this angle, we can't see the car parked on the other side of Officer Howard's car, can we?
No, we cannot.
But obviously that vehicle was there because we can go to the other station and see it. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
I'll keep panning to the right from this station. Now the SUV has gone off of our screen, but we now see fully Officer Howard's vehicle. As we keep scanning, we see Station 2. And now we're looking at Officer Christian's vehicle in the background.
Yes,
And obviously along the way, we see crime tape that's been put up. Is that correct as well?
yes, that's correct.
And on the other side here, it appears to be a stationing area for this scene, outside the crime scene.
Yes,
So we see other emergency vehicles as well in that area. Is that correct?
yes, that's correct.
We see other emergency vehicles down the roadway here as well. Is that correct?
Yes,
We switch over from the view in front of the SUV. Did we just pan to see a full 360 degrees in front of the SUV?
yes, we did.
Just as we did for the area outside Officer Howard's car?
Yes,
Here, does there appear to be two sets of crime scene tape marked off this lane?
yes.
taken a full view of all 360 degrees from the points of where you filmed in this unmarked Leica scan.
Yes.
Aside from the distances that we looked at a moment ago, these red dots, do those help us see areas that were photographed in relation to your three-dimensional scan?
Yes.
And so these were photographs that Agent Rosser took during the course of his collection of evidence, is that correct?
Yes.
And here we're looking at the side of Tony Howard's car with the images that were also photographed beside that vehicle.
Yes.
Does this show the scene as Agent Rosser photographed it and attached those photos for you to have with your Leica scan?
Yes, it does.
Aside from taking the scan, did you have any other involvement in the investigation of this case?
No, I did not.
Okay. And in the beginning, just so that we're clear, the first thing that we see when we open up the scan, is that an aerial map, or what are we actually looking at as you first open up the scan? Why does it appear the way that it appears from the opening?
That is point cloud data, and that is how the program just allows the user to be able to select which scan station they want to go to from the time they open up the program. You can select which scan station from this view right here.
And then once you've opened up the scan, you can see another scanner and pick that one?
Yes.
Thank you. I think those are all the questions I have. Please answer any questions the defendant might have.
Cross-examine. Put the lights back on for a moment.
Agent Rossman.
So, yeah, he was asking you to look for specific things, correct, sir?
He asked me to set up a scanner and scan in specific areas. Yes.
Okay. Did Agent Ross ask you to set the scanner up to see if there was any cameras on the apartment that might have saw anything? Did he ask you to set up and look for some cameras on the apartments or the street lights, anything?
I do not recall.
So if it had been a camera on a apartment or a camera in the light, could that scanner have picked it up and seen the measurement between that?
If the scanner saw a camera, then the scanner would scan the camera. So it would see.
So it can, just like the cars, it gave you the distance between the cars, and it'll give you the distance, if it was a camera anywhere, it gave you the distance between the camera and the Leica scanner, is that correct, sir?
If the Leica scanner picked up the camera.
Nobody didn't actually look, no camera did.
Not that I recall.
No further questions, sir.
Redirect.
Just briefly, does the Leica scanner scan everything at 360 degrees from the area that you have the scanner set?
Yes, it does.
Thank you.
Any excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
You're excused, sir. Call your next witness.
Your Honor, the state would call Kevin McGreevy. Mr. McGreevy, I would just remind you, since you previously testified, that you are still under oath.
Yes, ma'am.
And just to briefly refresh the jury's recollection, could you please tell them your name and where it is that you work?
My name is Kevin McGreevy. I work at the 911 Center here in Athens.
And Mr. McGreevy, did we discuss earlier some things about how the 911 center functions?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to ask you a few additional questions about that. Could you tell the jury, for example, does the 911 center handle not just phone calls from ordinary citizens or from civilians, but does it handle calls or radio calls that come in from police officers?
Yes, ma'am.
And can you tell us briefly how that process works?
Okay, well, radio or
Yes.
phones?
Radio first, I'm sorry.
Okay. We have divided the county into two sides for police response. We have east side and west side. In central communications, the 911 center, we have one dispatcher who handles everything happening on the west. We have another who handles everything happening on the east. Additionally, we also monitor the sheriff's office, their radio channel, and the fire department. As far as phones, we receive all emergency calls, all 911 calls in Clark County. We have non-emergency lines, which also come in, and we answer those as well.
Do officers sometimes call in from either their work or their personal cellular phones?
Yes.
And can you give us some examples of occasions why that might happen?
Officers, if they hear something going on the radio, they may call in and ask us what's going on. They may call in because they need to be connected to somebody. We have people who call in and want to speak to an officer. Maybe they have information about an incident that's already occurred. They call us, we contact the officer, we connect the officer up to that person.
Thank you. And you made some mention of the east side and the west side. If an officer were out in his vehicle or out patrolling and we're listening to, let's say, the west side traffic, can he hear contemporaneously the east side traffic?
Yes.
Is that what officers typically do when they're out working?
I can't speak to what they typically do. It is not uncommon.
And why might one listen to the other side of town's radio traffic? Can you give us an example of why that might occur?
Sure. The dividing line, well, one of the dividing lines between east and west is millage. So Millage Avenue, on the west side, we have zones 6 and 5, and on the east side, we have zone 9. That's all south of Broad Street. And the officer who's working in zone 9 may scan, listen to west, in case there's something happening on the west side, but just over Millage if he happens to be in that area. So he might be closer than the officer who's actually assigned to that zone, and he could respond more quickly than that officer.
And you mentioned mentioned the Clark County Sheriff's Office. Now, does your 911 center function as a dispatch type agency for the sheriff's office or no?
Well, we don't dispatch them. Sheriff's Office does not respond to calls for service in Clark County like the police department does. If you want to report your car's been broken into when you call 911, we're going to send you a police officer. The Sheriff's Office, I mean, they're law enforcement officers as well, but their duties in Clark County include security of the jail, the courthouse, transporting prisoners, serving warrants, civil papers. They have deputies out on the road, not as many as police officers, but they're out there, but their duties are usually self-initiated. So they will call us, they will call Central and tell us, we're serving a warrant at this location, we're serving civil papers here, we're transporting prisoners hither and yon, and we will note that in CAD and keep track of that.
And what about for other law enforcement agencies here in Athens, Clark County? For example, are you the 911 dispatch center for the University of Georgia Police Department?
We are not. They have their own dispatch center.
And what about for the Georgia State Patrol?
We do not dispatch them. They have a regional dispatch. It's up in Gainesville. And when we request GSP to work an accident in our county, we call their regional dispatch and they get somebody around.
Do other law enforcement agencies for whom you are not the 911 center or dispatch center, like UGAPD or GSP, do they have the ability to monitor radio traffic that goes across Athens, Clark County's lines?
If their radios have been set up to do so, yes, ma'am.
And are there times that that you've been working in the dispatch center that you can recall that they have been instructed to do so or requested to do so?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you give us an example of that type of situation?
Well, Georgia State Patrol, their officers who work in our area, they have their radios set up so that they can speak on our radio channels, our main police channels. So if they're out doing a traffic stop and they need a record, they're going to take somebody into custody, they will contact us directly and we'll call a record for them.
And in the course of your employment at the dispatch center, have you come to be familiar with the term called talk about or talk around?
Talk around.
What does that mean?
Talk around is a radio channel that officers can switch to, that they can talk back and forth to each other. It's not the east frequency or the west frequency. It's one where they can exchange information.
And with respect to radio traffic that comes in and out of your facility, can an average citizen sitting at home hear that?
Yes.
Is there some special means they have to do that?
I don't do it myself, so I don't have a whole lot of information on that. I get enough of that at work as it is.
I understand.
Yeah, but people, scanners, things like that, you can do it online.
And have you become familiar with a term called a CAD or a CAD?
CAD, yes, ma'am.
Can you tell us what the acronym CAD stands for, please?
Sure. CAD is Computer-Aided Dispatch. It's what we call our computer system in Central Communications, the 911 Center.
And I know you spoke with us the other day about maintaining 911 calls, for example, in the course of your employment. Do you typically maintain CADs in the course of your employment?
Yeah, the computer system that we use, it saves everything every time we enter something into CAD. It's time-stamped, it's saved. We can't go back and alter, delete, edit anything that's been entered into CAD. Once it's in there for good.
And how long have you been working in the 911 center? I'm sorry, I forgot.
22 years.
In the course of working there over 22 years, have you had the occasion, let me strike that question, ask you this first. Do you ever physically actually sit in that dispatch center?
Yes.
Do you ever take radio calls?
Yes.
Do you ever take 911 calls?
Yes.
And do you, in fact, in turn, dispatch officers to various locations from time to time?
Yes.
In the course of doing that over 22 years, have you had the occasion to become familiar with the voices of at least some officers?
Very much so.
So, for example, let me ask you this first. If someone calls into the dispatch center over the radio, does that person say, this is Officer so-and-so, or do they identify themselves by another means?
When they're on the radio, protocol is for them to identify themselves by their badge number. For instance, if it was 1111, badge number 1111, they'd say 1111 Central. And that way they identify themselves first, and then they, basically say who they're calling.
And you said you've had the occasion to become familiar with various officers' voices. Do you also have any personal knowledge as to whose badge number is whose?
Yes.
Now, if I could direct your attention,
I did that.
I'm glad it wasn't me.
Well, I'm trying to, it hits on mute by itself, and,
Okay, go ahead. All right, Your Honor.
I'm just trying to be helpful.
If I could direct your attention to the day of March 22nd, 2011. I know you've played some 911 calls for us previously. Did you have the occasion to retrieve radio traffic that pertained to a carjacking or a kidnapping involving an individual that eventually became known to you as Judon Brooks?
Yes, ma'am.
And was all that information, radio traffic pertaining to that, captured in some way over at the dispatch center?
Yes, ma'am.
And by what means was that done?
Okay. All of the radio traffic there was captured by our recording system, and shortly after the incidents on March 22nd, 2011, I made all the recordings, I pulled all the phone traffic, all the radio traffic relating to those incidents.
And subsequent to that, have you been requested to download or reproduce that information in some way?
I have.
And did you bring any sort of information like that with you to court today pertaining, first of all, to this carjacking or kidnapping of Mr. Brooks?
I did. I have a CD with all the radio traffic.
And does that CD contain, in addition to the radio traffic, the 911 traffic?
I have a separate CD that has all of the phone, all of the radio traffic for both incidents on March 22nd, 2011.
And have you listened to both of those discs in their entirety?
I have.
Are they true and accurate reproductions of what exists on the dispatch center's records?
Yes.
And have there been any alterations to either of those two things?
No.
In Your Honor, we would mark, if I could get Mr. McGreevy to hand those to the bailiff, please. And before I go forward, let me ask you one other question, Mr. McGreevy. With respect to what I am going to mark State's Exhibit number 685, and I'll have to let you show this to Mr. Hood and then Mr. McGreevy, please, ma'am. Have you had a chance to look at that just briefly, Mr. McGreevy?
Yes.
And can you tell me on State's Exhibit 685, what does that disc contain?
This contains all of the phone, all of the radio traffic for the two incidents.
And when you say the two incidents, besides the incident we just mentioned a moment ago, with respect to Mr. Judon Brooks, what is the other incident to which you're referring?
This would be the shooting murder on Sycamore Drive.
Those events pertaining to Officer Christian and Officer Howard?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. And then if I could show Mr. Hood and then Mr. McGreevy what have previously been marked as State's Exhibits number 686 and 687, please. And have you had a chance to look at those two items, Mr. McGreevy?
I have.
And can you tell me, first of all, what is State's Exhibit number 686?
686 is the radio traffic for the carjacking and kidnapping at Lexington and Winterville.
Yes, sir. And had you also received a request to retrieve the radio traffic pertaining to the murder of Officer Christian and the shooting of Officer Howard on that same date, March 22nd, 2011?
Yes, ma'am. Up to the point where Officer Wright lost contact with the vehicle, I pulled all the radio traffic up to that point.
Okay. And is that what's contained in disc number 687?
Yes, it is.
And have you reviewed each of those three discs?
I have.
And those are the three discs that you said there's not been any alterations to?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, we would move to tender states 685, 686, and 687.
Any objection?
No, sir, no.
And Mr. McGreevy, first of all, with respect to that disc number 685 that has all of the traffic on there, do you know approximately how long in time that disc takes to play?
685, no ma'am, hours.
Yes, sir. And with respect to state's number 686, which is pertaining to the carjacking, do you know approximately how long that takes to play?
About 35 minutes.
And when one sits and listens to media such as this pertaining to dispatch or radio calls, are we going to hear individual conversations in their entirety and then go to a separate conversation?
No ma'am, the way the recording system works and the way this is set up, the recording system is voice activated, so that if there is a pause, then the system will stop recording. When there's more noise, voices on the line will start recording again. Also, transmissions can be very short. So, you may have an officer who calls into Central, doesn't get an immediate response, but that's one of the tracks. So we jump back and forth between West Side and East Side and Sheriff's Office, and there's another radio channel, Event 1, where there's some traffic on there as well.
And how is it that these tracks come to be recorded in the manner that they are? What I'm trying to ask is, for example, is more than one person talking to someone from dispatch at a time?
Yes, ma'am. We have multiple officers out in the field on the west side who are talking to dispatch, multiple officers on the east side, on the sheriff's radio. We have a lot of people talking to dispatch.
And with respect to some of the tracks which you heard on this particular radio traffic pertaining to the kidnapping or the carjacking, is everything always perfectly easy to understand?
No, ma'am.
Can you tell us some of the reasons why not?
There may be static on the line, static in the recording. Officers may not be right next to the microphone as they're transmitting. There may be background noise. There are various reasons.
Yes, sir. And Your Honor, at this point in time, we would move to publish State's Exhibit number 686, and that is the disc which Mr. McGrew described pertaining to the radio traffic on the carjacking involving Mr. Brooks.
All right.
And before we do publish that, Mr. McGreevy, can you tell me, while that's uploading, if more than one officer calls in on a cell phone or on the radio at the same time, can you tell us what happens at that point?
Calls in on radio.
For example, if Officer A and Officer B call in at the exact same moment, how is that handled in the dispatch center?
Well, if you have two officers who are transmitting simultaneously on the radio channel, generally it comes across as indistinct. We say that one officer has walked on another with his radio traffic. One of the transmissions may be clear and the other one will be covered up, or both of them may be indistinct.
Thank you.
Metro 537-2294.
Mr. McGreevy, before we go further playing any of these other tracks on this, let me ask you. I'm sorry. Let me ask you, do you see where I'm pointing with my mouse on the computer screen right now?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you see just above that where I'm pointing to another item on the screen that says number 15?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell me what the difference between those two items are for each of these numbers that appear on this disc, please, sir?
Sure. Our recording system at that time, each time you recorded a track, included a text file. And if you open up the text file, it's a little notepad burst of information. And it will tell you what time that track begins, what time it ends, how long it is, and what channel it came from.
And if I may, before we go further, let me know where we are on the audio. If I can click on what you just described as a text file for item number 14, can you tell me, we'll just go through this one as an example. That's the track we just listened to. What does this indicate to you about when this phone call came into the dispatch center?
Okay, it's showing that it came in at 12:59:47. That it lasted until 13:49 seconds. So that's 12:59 in the afternoon, 1 o'clock until 1 o'clock. The duration is 1 minute 3 seconds. It's on PD East and it's channel 33.
And when you say channel 33, are you referring to the place upon which you have to place your dial to listen?
No, I'm referring to the recording system.
Thank you. And Mr. McGreevy, from this point forward, if it's doable for you, I'm going to play the audio file and then open the text file and let you tell us a little bit about it.
Sure.
First call came in at 12:53.
And Mr. McGreevy, now that I've clicked on that text file pertaining to track number 15, can you tell us what time that call came in and how long it lasted?
It came in at 1:01 and 5 seconds, and it lasted for 26 seconds.
Thank you. And if we could go to track number 16.
22:27 is off within several minutes in between the time that person sent and the call in.
And with respect to the tab pertaining to track number 16, can you tell us again, what time did that call come in and how long did it last?
1:01, 42 seconds. It lasted for 16 seconds.
I'm going to switch it up and ask you about the text on track number 17 first. Again, can you tell us the time and the duration?
1:01, 58 seconds, and it lasted for 16 seconds.
And if we see the times on some of these calls overlapping, can you explain to us why that might be?
Sure. We have multiple frequencies, channels on this CD. So we'll have East, and we'll have SO, and we'll have West Side, and different things on here. And somebody may be transmitting on East while somebody else is transmitting on West, or just a second later, and they tend to overlap.
Thank you. If we could listen to track number 17.
And was a tan convertible Cadillac, 1975 model.
And then if I could show you text document for track 18. Again, can you tell us the time that came in and how long it lasted?
1:02, 18 seconds, lasted for 13 seconds.
Thank you. If we could play track number 18. And then we're going down to what's labeled as track number 21. Can you explain us why 19 and 20 or maybe some other numbers are not on there, first of all?
Sure. I was requested to prepare a CD with just the radio traffic, so the numbers that are missing there were phone calls.
But if we were to go, for example, to state 685, the disc that you prepared for both of these events, would we find those other tracks on here?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So if I could go to the text document on track number 21, and if I could ask you those same questions, please, Mr. McGreevy.
Kim, it began at 1:03 and 5 seconds. It lasted for 15 seconds.
Thank you. Let's play track number 21.
Callers advising that there were 4 males that did this to them. 3 had on ski masks, 1 was black and 2 were white.
And then if I could play track number, excuse me, if I could show you the text document on track number 22, if you could give us that same information, please, Mr. McGreevy.
Begins at 1:03, 23 seconds. It lasts 42 seconds.
Thank you. And then playing track 22.
He's advising he jumped out on Lexington right near Petman Tire. He's in another vehicle now just past Clark Gardens. We're trying to get him to stop to meet with us.
Find out where the original incident occurred, though, where they got a hold of him in the car.
Then if I could show you the text document pertaining to track number 23, please. And if you'll give us that same information.
Begins at 1:04 and 12 seconds. It lasts for 17 seconds.
Thank you. And I'm playing track number 23.
Careful, we're also being advised that this occurred at the light right beside Petman Tire.
And if I could show you the text document pertaining to track number 24, please. And if you'll tell us that information.
Begins at 1:04 and 30 seconds. It lasts for 18 seconds.
And I'm playing track number 24.
2041.
So he was put in the trunk at Petman Tire, is that what you're saying?
Careful, at the light right there, and I guess when they turned the corner, he was able to get out.
Your Honor, if it's acceptable to court from here on out, I will just click on the text document and then go into the audio when Mr. McGreevy is finished and not ask him those questions each time in the interest of time.
It's acceptable to me.
Sir. And when I click on those, would you please tell us the
Sure.
same 2 pieces of information? Thank you, Mr. McGreevy.
1:04, 39 seconds. Lasts for 27 seconds.
All right, so you didn't stand by for a Bolo reference. Possible carjacking or robbery that occurred. Said to have occurred on Petman Tire, believe it's on Oconee Street, Lexington Road. Subjects took a 75 Chevy convertible, tan in color.
1:05 and 8 seconds. It lasts for 12 seconds.
Possibly being driven by black males, possibly down on the bypass from Lexington Road headed up 29.
1:05 and 10 seconds. It lasts for 21.
2041.
The left have this Bolo yet, because the suspect has a 240 Sycamore Drive, right?
They're giving it out now.
1:05, 29 seconds. It lasts for 32.
On West Side Unit, stand by for a Bolo
106 and 1 second, 23 seconds.
Possible suspect to be Jamie Hood, located 240 Sycamore Drive. Apartment India 2, I2. This is all very preliminary information. No further at this time.
106 and 3 seconds, last for 26.
Also being advised, the possible suspect of Jamie Hood. And last I checked, his possible residence 240 Sycamore Drive, India 2. $22.31.
106 and 27 seconds, last for 20.
Zero.
106 and 29 seconds, last for 18. One 106 and 48 seconds, last for 10. One 107 and 9 seconds, last for 17. One 107 and 25 seconds, last for 9. One 107 and 36 seconds, last for 12.
22:31. You guys, did this occur on Sycamore Drive or this occurred somewhere else?
One 107 and 52 seconds, last for 13. One 108 and 10 seconds, last for 28.
Let's stop for a moment.
99, you advised your
How many more lists do we have,
There are 99 tracks, Your Honor. It takes approximately 30 minutes to play without the time for the, when we told you the time it takes to play, we were not including the time for him to read the text.
And is it not possible just to play them?
No, sir, you can't play them straight through.
Yes, you can.
Then Mr. McGreevy just taught me something that I've never been able to figure out.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna let the jury, y'all need to, I'm gonna let y'all step back.